Hi, this is Anthony, parent of Parent LLP, and I'm here with an update to the 2014 Offshore Voluntary Disclosure Guide. This is updated as of June 26, 2014. That's pretty important because we do have some older material out there. And there is a huge change that has been announced for the Streamlined Disclosure Program. And there is a significant difference as to whether or not you can get a 0% penalty or a 5% penalty on your offshore accounts. And a little bit about us: we are IRSMedic, parent, and win. We are tax resolution attorneys, and we offer a flat fee. And this information, just like everything else, is subject to change. And by the way, this is to give you a general overview. We're not going over every exception, so there is no substitute for legal advice. This is, again, just to give you a general outline of what is available out there. Okay, so why is this a big deal? Well, the IRS issued a new form to their offshore voluntary disclosure program. That is, they were overwhelmed with a whole bunch of cases, and so they decided to make it easier for some people with undisclosed foreign accounts. So the foreign streamlined process was announced, and it really liberalized a lot of rules. A lot of people couldn't apply for it before. Now there's a whole bunch of rules that some people who couldn't can do it now. We're not going into that right here. All we're here to do is to sort of distinguish between those who can take advantage of the 0% penalty and those who can take advantage of the 5% penalty. Okay, if you are making a domestic streamlined offshore voluntary disclosure, right? I mean, that's kind of confusing. Or a foreign offshore voluntary disclosure, that is also confusing because they're all foreign accounts, right? Both of them are foreign accounts, right? Well, here's the key difference. Domestic if you live in the U.S., foreign if you don't live in the U.S. So what are the tests? Well, let's go over that right now. Here's a test of whether or not you could use the foreign OVDP or domestic OVDP. If you happen to be a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, this is the test. If in any of the last 3 years, you don't, and those 3 years are counted by your lawful tax deadline. If in any of the last 3 years you don't happen to have a U.S. address and you weren't physically present in the U.S. for 330 days, okay, meet those tests, generally you can file for the foreign OVDP and have a 0% penalty. Now let's say that you are you're not a U.S. person, or I'm sorry, you're not a U.S. citizen and you're a non-permanent resident. Generally, okay, in any of the last 3 years, and the years are measured by tax years, you do not meet the substantial presence test. Okay, and now we're saying in any of the last 3 years. So, and now what's confusing is the substantial presence test is a 3-year, can be a 3-year rule. So this is where it gets really confusing. To make it easy, let's just say hopefully you meet this. To make it really easy, if you're in less than 31 days in the U.S. in any given year. Okay, so we're talking the last 3 years measured by tax years. If you were in the U.S. for over 31 days, then we have to go through the other test. Less than 183 days in the last 3 years total. But the way the substantial presence test works is that the year before, each day counts as half. And the year before that, each day counts as a third of the day. Also, if you have less than 183 days in any year, but have closer ties to a different country, that is, you keep a home there, you will meet the substantial presence test exception, so that you can also file under the foreign offshore voluntary disclosure program. So that is that. We are going to be doing a whole bunch more. There is a bunch of updates coming on. The Streamlined program, it has a bunch of for expats and for visa holders is really helpful, and even the 5% is helpful to a lot of people who don't want to go through the whole expense of a full offshore voluntary disclosure program with an opt-out and all of that. So what I would advise you to do is subscribe to this channel. We're going to have a lot of updates coming up. And if you have a pressing issue, you can call our Streamlined OVDP hotline. That's at 888-477-4258. Email info@irsmedic.com. Again, subscribe to this channel, and this is Anthony Parent of Parent, and Win. I thank you for watching.